Hello chess fans! In this game, the world champion Max Euwe found the hidden resources for a devastating counterattack, which gained him a brilliancy prize. Euwe played black pieces, and his opponent Yefim Geller started with d4. Euwe played nimzo-indian defense, bishop b4, e3, c5, immediately attacking the center, a3, which leads to the exchange of the bishop for the knight, after which white will have two bishops, but the pawn structure is damaged. b6, bishop d3, bishop b7, exerting pressure and attacking g2. And as white is planning to play f4, e4, e5, f5 with the attack on the king side, the natural move knight f3 in this position isn't so good, because it would block the f-pawn. That's why white played f3, preparing e4. And black played knight c6. Knight e2, castles, knight a5. So you already know white's plan, and black is playing against the weakness on c4. The knight is already attacking it. The rook will move to c8, and after c takes d, the c file would open, and the rook would also join attack, and if needed, the bishop can also join the attack, so c4 would fall anyways. And so white would just sacrifice this pawn and start the attack on the king side. So let's see who would be first in this race. e4, opening the bishop's diagonal and threatening bishop g5 with a very annoying pin. And after bishop g5, for example, e5 would just win a piece. That's why, in order to prevent this pin, black played knight e8, moving away from this pin. And also, if white plays f4, black would reply with f5, blocking the f-pawn. And after this, black won't have any active play, because the pawn cannot move further, and the bishop would be bad, because it would be limited by its own pawn on f4. That's why before playing f4, white played knight g3, taking under full control f5 square. And now, after f4, black won't be able to play f5, because white would just capture this pawn on f5. c takes d, rook c8, attacking c4, f4, knight takes c4, f5, with a very serious threat, f6 is threatening. And that would just demolish black's king side, because if the knight captures on f6, then again this annoying pin would follow. And after that, as the f file would open, the rook would be very strong, also exerting pressure on the knight on f6. The knight can move to h5 and also attack this knight on f6, so this knight would fall and the whole king side would be completely demolished and black king would fall. That's why, in order to prevent white from playing f6, black played f6 himself. Now, rook f4. The idea is to play rook h4, very simple, queen h5, creating deadly threats, as both white bishops also look towards the king side. So it would be just impossible to defend the king side, as most of black pieces are on the queen side, and black pieces aren't mobile. They just can't move, as white has a tremendous space advantage. So it would be just impossible for black to defend the king side. And the only way black can survive in this position is to start a counterattack. And that's exactly what Euwe did. You can pause the video and try to find his next move, which symbolizes the start of the counterattack. So, the knight on c4, the bishop on b7, and the rook are already placed very well, very actively for the counterattack, and the queen must join the counterattack. That's why b5, vacating the b6 square for the queen, and on this square the queen would exert very strong pressure on white's position. Rook h4, queen b6, attacking d4. That's why e5. Now the rook defends the pawn, and also the bishop's diagonal is open. And it seems that white still has much more immediate threats and must win. For example, now after f takes e, the bishop's diagonal would open and h7 would fall. So, but knight takes e5. The pawn is pinned, and the knight will exchange on d3, eliminating this very strong bishop. F takes e, knight takes d3, queen takes d3, queen takes e6, and now h7 is unprotected, so queen takes h7 check. King f7, bishop h6. So it seems that black is very passive, and white has so many pieces attacking the king, and it seems that white will just win in a few moves. However, it's not the case. You can pause the video and try to find next brilliant move by Euwe, which brought him this brilliancy prize. I will just give you one small tip. Which move you should find a black piece and the move that black would love to make in order to create immediate threats to white king. However, at the moment this move is impossible, as one of white pieces is controlling the square on which black piece would love to move. And with his next move, Euwe deflects white's piece from that square, after which he can start his brilliant counterattack. So, black would love to play rook c2 in order to create immediate threats, deadly threats on g2. However, at the moment, the queen on h7 is controlling this c2 square. That's why Euwe sacrifices his rook h8, in order to deflect the queen from h7 and also lure the queen deeper towards the corner of the board, from where it will not take part in the game at all. Queen takes h8, and now rook c2 is possible. With a terrible threat, rook captures on g2. And after, if of course king h1 after rook g2 check, then just rook captures on g3, check with terrible x-ray. So that's why after rook g2 check, the king will be forced to go to f1, but then queen c4 check would follow. That's why white played rook c1 in order to take under control c4 square, so that queen doesn't check. But after rook takes g2 check, king f1, although queen c4 is impossible, queen b3 is possible, creating deadly threat, queen f3 check, king e1, queen f3, and as there is a deadly threat, queen f2 check, followed by rook g1 check with checkmate next move, and there is no defense, white in this position resigned. I'll be grateful if you like this video to help me with the channel growth, and see you next time.